And talking about moving on. Very special, very special podcast host is moving on from Spotify. Yep, y'all know it is Joe Budden. Joe Budden is walking away from his Spotify exclusive deal. He is claiming that September 23rd will be his last album, I believe. If I'm reading, it says September 23rd. I cannot tell you where this podcast will be, but as it stands, I could tell you where it will not be, and that's Spotify. According to Variety and The Verge, Button stated that the streaming service was plaguing his audience. Button reportedly spent a large part of the 3.5 hour podcast detailing his deal with Spotify. Button also stated that his streaming giant never cared about his podcast individually. Button also said that the podcast has undermined and undervalued. He suggested that only seven more episodes of the podcast will be released on Spotify. Your takes, bro.
Uh,
Because no, go ahead.
well, I always watch them on YouTube, but I can obviously assume that his listeners on Spotify are going to have to make that transition. So I don't know how this really goes when it comes to deals with podcasts in general. I mean, we've heard the different, like the Joe Rogan deal, obviously, probably the biggest
That's
podcast
probably
deal
why.
we've heard of, as well as like Kim Kardashian possibly having a deal with, I think it was Spotify as well, on a podcast about prison reform.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Joe Budden, he's been on Spotify, I believe, since day one.
Yeah, I think since he started like 2 years ago.
But if he hasn't, please excuse me for being ignorant in that statement. But, I can only imagine how that would be for somebody who has had a deal with you to put your sound on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe is not new to anything like this. He's an artist. A former artist, I mean.
Yeah. He switched to the media.
But, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other platforms that are going to offer him deals. And if not,
I'm about to say, let me ask you, what kind of deal you think he'll get? Because we said this when Joe Rogan came out. Joe Rogan set the bar. This man got 100 million.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he been in the game way longer than anybody else, but still, he got 100 million.
Right.
He signed with
I thought
Spotify.
it was 150 million.
Shit doesn't matter. Look.
No, yeah.
And then, like you said, Kim K. Hold on, yo, it's mom. Hello?
Hey, are you at the track?
No, mom, we recording right now. Say hi to the podcast.
Hi, podcast. I'm sorry. Okay. I love y'all. Call me back. Bye.
Love you too, mom. Yeah, but like I was saying, because he said they undervalued him. I kind of see where he get that from, because from the sense of Joe Rogan just signed a deal, Kim K just signed a deal. So where did that put him? At least third.
It's definitely
Now, unless we don't know other,
There's definitely other podcasts and different, demographics, but he's like a media personality. He's not entertaining.
How much you think he'll get?
I don't know, bro.
You think he get Joe Rogan? You don't think so? You don't think Joe could get that?
I'm not saying I don't think he can get that, but I don't know how popular the Joe Budden podcast is compared to the Joe Rogan experience.
Well, if we look at his numbers, because
he's popular, bro. Joe Budden,
Oh yeah,
Rory Law,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like Parks, all of them, Savon, those are real brothers right there. Like they all straight.
Yeah. I'm just saying from the numbers perspective, because when I look at Joe Rogan on YouTube, he get like millions.
Right. That's what, bro. And that's what I'm saying, bro. I don't think they hit millions regularly.
That's what I mean.
Episodes. So it's definitely like a different, you know what I mean? Like it's a whole different ball game we talking about here. Bro.
Right.
He could definitely get a deal, bro. Like it's the Joe Budden podcast, bro. He can get a deal, dog.
I know what you mean.
It just, I mean, I can't really predict where he could get a deal at, but you know what I mean. If it happens, I would not be surprised at all. But he's definitely, I watch him on YouTube every time he drops an episode. I never really listened to him on Spotify, but I believe he could be on any other. Like, is he even on other platforms like Apple Podcasts, Google?
No, bro. Just
Oh.
remember, he's just strictly Spotify.
Just
So
Spotify.
Spotify, YouTube.
He might just go down the route of putting it everywhere then.
Nah. Because, as I was telling you before, when we did this, we should have did supply and demand. Because if you think about it, somebody as big as Joe, they're going to follow.
Right.
So when he leaves Spotify, if he do go to Apple, people's going to go from Apple.
Right.
If he do go to Google Podcasts, people going to get Google Podcasts. I believe wherever he go, people still going to follow him. So he don't even need to be on every one like we are.
Absolutely.
But that's crazy.
Yeah, ain't nothing to stress about. He gonna find his wave and it's just gonna be there.
I didn't expect that from Joe.
No, I didn't either, but I'm not really surprised. I'm just kind of like I think I'm in your boat. Like, I'm curious as to what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see it's working out. I don't feel like it's not going to work out for him. So, I mean, he got 7 episodes left until he's done on Spotify. So we're probably only going to be able to see him on YouTube unless he figures out what he's going to be on in between these past 7 episodes.